Hello, everybody. My name is Sandra Younger. Welcome to JTV Extra. Today's show, we're going to be learning how to make these easy bolo cord jewelry. But what I want to mainly emphasize are like the endings. Like I'm really going to talk about those. But before we get started, if you're new, as always, welcome to the JTV Extra show, where you can like shop, share, love. You could leave comments and ask questions down below. So if you have any questions throughout the show, please make sure and ask, because I am going to try and answer all the questions. Guys, I really try, because I know that sometimes I miss them. And if I do, I go back and check. And then I'll try, if I have your email address, I'll go back and personally answer your questions. Let me see if there's anything else I would like to cover. Oh yeah, okay. This is really interesting. This bracelet here, you know, I had posted it on my Instagram page, and like less than I think a day later, I get this from Sarah in North Carolina. She did such a fantastic job. So the thing that I think is important, and what I thought was really cool about this, is that, you know, she learned a skill set, and she knew that, okay, when you look at something, you could see the different techniques that I teach and then how to approach it. And that's mostly like what I teach with the Knotty-Do-It-All, is like, you know, when you see something, and which I'm going to get to in a minute, because we have a bracelet, a few bracelets that were sent in by Laura Lee. And I thought to myself, I'm going to make one. And I did. And I'll show it to you guys in a minute, because I was inspired by what she made, but I had no idea how she made it. So I made my own version of it. But I'll show you that in just a few minutes. But before we go any much further, I just want to go over the items that are on today's show. And then we'll get to our customer showcase, which is, like, as always, it's like amazing. So let's talk about the products on today's show. All right, let's see what we have today. Okay, first, I want to talk about the maple leaves. They're big. They're bigger than a 50-cent piece, and they're quite heavy. But I looked up, you know, I thought everything's got some kind of symbolism, so I looked it up, and there were a bunch of them, but the one that I liked was that maple leaves represent beauty, patience, and great fortune. I really like that. And you get a rose quartz, a tiger iron, and a black agate. So if you want beauty, patience, and great fortune, then definitely get a maple leaf or make yourself a maple leaf necklace. And let's see, next we have the rose quartz, the stone of unconditional love. And you get, okay, this has a 10-millimeter strand, two 8-millimeter strands, and two 6-millimeter strands. But what I did here, I did end up knotting them. And this is one of the things that I teach under Knotty Lessons, is how to knot beads really fast. And you get them like perfect. And it honestly, this took me less than 10 minutes to make. So that is definitely one of my favorite techniques. And this would make a beautiful, like a mala style necklace. I still don't know what I'm going to put on the as a pendant yet, but I'm working on it. And then, the wax jewelry cord. Oh, I just love this stuff. Okay, this bracelet here, it was inspired by Laura Lee. I actually made one. I did it, and I used the wax jewelry cord. I used the black. So this stuff, in the techniques that I used on this bracelet with this cord, I did knotting, macrame. I think that's mostly like knotting, macrame, and half hitch. So those were the three techniques that I used with this cord. So if you don't have it, you got to have it, because it's so versatile. And then, okay, these rings are really cool. I believe they're called D rings. And if you don't have any, guys, you got to get these. And I'll tell you why. Okay, when I was first using them, you know, I thought, when I first saw them, I thought, nope, they've got that seam. But I did not realize that they are, they're soldered closed. And what that means is the cord, any cord that you put in there, even if it's really thin, is not going to wiggle its way through. And another thing that I like about it, since that one side has that line, see on the leather how the different strands, they lay straight in a row, you know, as opposed to if you have a ring and they kind of lay funny. So, and they're pretty small. So, I mean, this is really blown up, huge. but I just wanted to show you the detail. So these are definitely one of my big favorite things that were on the show today. I mean, yeah, I really like these. So here we have it. And on one of them, I mean, it took forever. I probably won't do it in real life, but I did like a macrame around the ring just to, you know, see if I could. And then, oh, we've got the leather, which is going to be, you know, what I'm going to be using in the show today. The Mystic Pink round bolo and the 1.5 millimeter Kanza. They're both beautiful, supple, just spot on, perfect leather. If you don't have it, you got to have it. It's perfect. I love this leather. And then JM Kit 942. Okay, these are bales. The item description said that there were 5 styles, but unless I think I might be blind or something, I separated them out, and I noticed that it looks to me like 4, but I could be wrong because you know, maybe maybe one has a dot or something, and then I missed it. So, but these are they have, like you can see up on top, they've got like really big openings, so you could put like a lot of stuff in there. I mean, multi-strands, thick leather, all sorts of things. And then last, Brilliant Cash. I mean, it's not a product, but I do want to tell you guys, if you are a first-time purchaser, you will earn $40, and it's good towards your next purchase. On your birthday, you get $20. The anniversary of your first purchase, $20. The Sparkle Ambassador Refer a Friend, you get $25 for every person you refer, and they get $25. So that is like such a good deal. I wish I had like a ton of friends. Anyway, you get 1% back on all purchases and 2% back with the preferred card. And last, returning customers after 365 days, you get a $30 Brilliant Cash credit to your account. So that is everything, all the products and the information on Brilliant Cash. Okay, someone's asking, what is Kanza leather? It is just a fancy name. It's because all the different leathers from Leather Cord USA has a name in Kanza. And actually, Kanza has been around like forever. That is like one of the colors that, I mean, I remember from like, I mean, years ago. And let's see, I want to, yeah, the D-rings. I really want to emphasize how cool those D-rings are because they're soldered closed, and that is one of the most important things when you're working with stringing material. I mean, if it's got like the seam and it's a thick cord, that's fine. But if it's got that seam and you're trying to use really thin cord, then that soldering is really, really important. Anyway, now we are going to go on to my favorite part of the show, which is the customer showcase. And you guys will get to see where I got my inspiration for the bracelet that I made from Laura Lee. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so first we have Kumi from Oregon. Guys, look at this. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? You got the orange with the turquoise, the gray, and the gold. And this is so pretty. And let's see, the pendant says, not all those who wander are lost. So beautiful. Thank you, Kumi. This is a real treat for the eyes. I think it's so pretty. And then next we have Sarah from North Carolina. Okay, this necklace here, I like the little fluffy things on the end, and I just think that they really go good with the owl, like owl feathers, you know? And I like the ring and how you did the bail. So everything about this is just spot on perfect, and it really reflects last week's lesson. I thank you, Sarah. So pretty. I love it. And Adair from Washington. Oh, okay, this one's really cool because I like the way you did those really tight macrame binding knots on the end. And those are a really good way, if you don't want to do it like knots or, you know, have any kind of crimp on the end, you know, the binding knots are like perfect. In this pendant, you know, I was looking at it, it's so pretty. It's a heart. It's got an ocean. It's got a little bird, palm trees, and like a little vista. I love that. Thank you, Adair. It's such a pretty necklace. And then next, ooh, okay, these are really interesting. There are a couple of these here. Laura Lee was telling me that on the ends she used the backward macrame to like finish the ends. And the backward macrame to me is one of like these like I don't know, you just can't go wrong with it because if you're ever concerned about something falling apart just with the basic overhand knot, then it probably will. But the backward macrame is like perfect. But look at these necklaces. I like that they're simple, but they're just like beautiful. I mean, you just like sometimes you don't want to like do braiding or macrame, just like string it on. But when you finish the ends, that backward macrame is just like so perfect. This is a beautiful necklace. I love them. I love them both. And then next we have Sarah from North Carolina. Okay, this one's interesting because I really like how she combined like a double strand on the end with, you know, just like strung on, I guess it's on beading wire. And then the other part of the necklace is wire wrap beads. And this is a perfect example of how you can combine, you know, different techniques like a double strand, leather with, you know, just wire wrap beads. So that's the kind of thing that I, you know, try to, you know, explain. And I don't know if I've ever like shown anything like this. I don't think I have, but Sarah, you're the first. So perfect. And then next, Susanna from Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, I like how you did the donut. I mean, that really adds that extra pop of like interest and color right in front of the pendant. But on the other one, there's like a smaller ring and then a wire wrap teardrop. So it's so interesting, you know, when you guys send things in, it's just like everything's got this, it's those little details that just makes, like, you know, you put your own, you know, personal touch on, you know, these necklaces and bracelets, which I really appreciate. And then next, oh boy, these are really interesting because when I saw these, you know, I thought, you know what, I've had these rectangular shaped beads for like literally 15 years. And I thought I could do something like this. And what kills me is that I probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I gave away an entire box of these faceted rectangles because I thought there's nothing, I'll never be able to use these. So guys, like, oh my, don't do it. Keep everything because one day something will come along and you'll wish you didn't like get rid of them. But I'm going to make something like this because I am very inspired because this is so pretty. And check this out. Okay, this one's modeled. Look at that. I mean, I like how they're so different. One side's different from the other. And then it's just, I'm just like speechless. I love it. And then, you know, another thing that if you look at that bead right on top of that sliding knot, I mean, the bead will slide too. I mean, how nifty is that? So thank you so much, Laura Lee, for inspiring me. I'm going to do this. And the next, Sarah, North Carolina. Okay, this necklace is interesting because this one doesn't have that adjustable thing that I showed. But if you follow the lesson, you know, it does fit right over your head. So you can wear it long like a rosary style, or you can put that adjustable slide knot part on there. So, and then of course, look at the knotting. It's just absolute perfection. And then last we have Susanna from Louisville, Kentucky. When I saw this, I'm like, okay, what lesson was it? So I had to like go back to like my archives. This one was October 5th of 2023. If you could find the link on my website, this would be perfect for the Kanza leather that's on today's show because it's the same size leather. But look how cute this is. I mean, and you even put like a little charm, which I didn't show like anything with a charm. Mine, I did one version that was just woven like this, and then another one with beads. But look at this, so cute, so simple, so adorable. I love it. And I love seeing what you guys send in. I really appreciate it, and you know, contributing to this customer slideshow that I do every Thursday. It's just like, it's eye candy. Anyway, that concludes the show. And if you want anything included, make sure and email it to me. My email address is theknotty-do-it-all@gmail.com. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, so let me, we're going to get to the lesson, and I'm going to, you know, it's funny because when I made this, when I saw the bracelet that Laura Lee sent in, you know, like I mentioned, I had these beads that I had for years, and I just like, these are hopeless. And I honestly, I gave so many of them to Goodwill like 3 weeks ago, a huge box of them. And when I mean, I had a couple of strands left, and I thought, nah, I'm not going to do it. But then I did it. And then this is how it ended up coming out. And I have no idea how you did it, Laura Lee. So I kind of like did my own thing where I did like some, I mean, this has probably a lot going on. Maybe I can't even like bring myself to like remember how I did it. But it came out so nice. And the inspiration for it was just like, it was just like amazing. And another thing I want to show you guys, because I know that I saw that Nita mentioned like binding knots. And that is what we're going to be covering today, because these knots right here that I use on the Bolo cord, that is a macrame binding knot. But the ones on the Bolo cord have a little like an extra step. But in case you guys don't know about the board, this is a cord knotting and design tool that I invented. We have both the large size and the small size, and everything that's going on here is actually like stuff I'm going to be like doing on using like techniques for today's show. And what you get an instructional DVD and an ebook, but you know, I know that a lot of you don't have DVD players or CD players anymore, but everything is available online. You get a password, and then you get access to all the lessons. And make sure and like, you know, definitely always tune into the JTV Extra shows. And you can like look back on the archives, because they're like hosted on Facebook, and you can get the links on from my website. If you just go there, you can see all the past shows and click on the links, because there's so much information. I mean, aside from the lessons on my website, you also have those in addition. And if you tune in every Thursday, I mean, it's just like a fun bunch of people, to tell you the truth. But you get hardware, you get the flip bobbins, which are fantastic for a long macrame, which, you know, I think I used them in like last week's show. But each of the boards has the bead and ring size like imprinted on there. Let me see if I could flip this over. They've got like skid feet, so when you're working, it doesn't go sliding all over the place. And what's nice is they're heavy. I think this one weighs about like a little over 2 pounds. And the neat thing is, this is great for travel, small spaces, and you can even use it side by side with the large board if you want even bigger board. And there's so many things I can't even like, you know, begin to like tell you all the like lessons and things that you learn. I mean, you just saw from the customer slideshow, like just the variety of different things that you know, that customers have done. And if you don't have one, I mean, I think if you do get one, it's going to be the most fun you'll probably ever have, because it's extremely therapeutic and it is addicting. Okay, so now let's see, right? Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea, Kathy. And, you know, I just want to like say hi to like, okay, we got Michael, Adair, Robin, Nita, let's see, Carol, Chatty. That's a cute name. Sarah, Nita. Okay, I just want to just say hi to everybody here before I get started. I know Susan says she was at the eye doctor. I hope everything is okay, Susan. Kathy, hello. We got Jenny. Oh my God, we just got a full house. Lynn, Kathleen, Jamie. Oh my God, Laura Lee. Oh, the talented Laura Lee. You guys, you all of you are talented. Okay, so let me show you what I did. Let's start with just these basic things, and they're all the same. Okay, so this earring is just a short version of this. So this is the basic component, and you can make them short, you can make them long. And then when you put them together, what you do is you make 2 of them, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you just like put them in like this. The ends with the binding knots, you just put it in like that, and then just pull it. And that's how you get this apart. And then when you put the ends, like the macrame, the adjustable part right here, it won't come apart. I don't recommend putting like a clasp in a ring, because if you do that, it could be pulled apart. I mean, you might want to do that for like who knows what reasons, but I would suggest like making them to where you can't like take them apart. So you just put them just like this. Okay, so for the earrings, okay, these earrings, what I did was I measured like 3 inches. Okay, so I have my pegs like 3 inches apart. Let me like zoom in on here, because this is definitely interesting. So the pegs, I mean, you could just, I mean, you could actually put, your pegs anywhere on the board as long as you count 3. There's 1, 2, 3. So these are 3 inches apart. And I have a clip 1 inch from this peg right here. And that's how I get that that loop in there. So I have a clip here, the peg, and then I slipped in a ring. So I put the ring in, of course, like before. I just put this right in here and clip it right there. And I've got something stuck under my board. And then I just come around, and this will give you, the 3 inch. Let me see what's under here. All right, because usually when there's stuff under there, it kind of goes nuts. Okay, so right in here, that is where you're going to make your macrame binding knot. So I know that Nita asked about that earlier. But when I do these binding knots, I use the wax jewelry cord in the 0.5. You don't want to use the 0.9 because it's too thick, and you don't get that because with the 0.9 it'll be like boom, 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 and the thinner one is like it's real close and then real tight, and it really helps like grip the cord. And for this, I usually for my macrame like knots and everything I say 16, but this time you're going to need a little bit extra because you need to you're going to make it, and then you're going to go back over because, guys, this is really thick cord, and you don't want to take any chances that it might come apart. So I'm going to turn my board around so that it's facing me. Okay, right there. That's a nice thing about the board. And the sometimes, I mean, not always. I mean, sometimes the smaller board, I mean, it's just easier to like whip around. But I use both boards like interchangeably. I honestly, I like both. So I'm going to come in here, and then when I do the first, because sometimes when I do my macrame, I come in under like this, but on this top one here, I don't know why, my brain just tells me just to like start with like a I don't know, an overhand knot, I guess, and just like tighten it, and you're gonna see that it's gonna pop apart. See that? But when you come under to do the second part, it's gonna tighten up, and that's where you really want to like crank that thing down. So let's I'm gonna come in here, and I'm leaving a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, now you see I'm gonna tighten it. See that? And it's gonna stick. And what's helping it stick is that wax on the cord. So you're gonna come in and like just macrame, like, and then just try to keep them lined up so that it covers. Let's say that was a top, bottom, top. Okay, now bottom. And see now, since one nice thing about this board, in case you don't have one, is that you can get your hands underneath your work. You've got tension, you've got that elevation that you need so you can get your hands underneath, and it's measuring for you. I mean, once you get those 3 things out of the way when you're working with any kind of stringing material, it just goes by so much faster. I mean, everything, it just looks better. And okay, I kind of lost count, but what I did on mine is I macrameed a 14. And you can get fancy because you know how Kumi, like she had like beads on the outside. You can, if you're gonna put beads on the outside, just make it a little bit longer because you really want, see how I'm like really pulling? So that's gonna help hold that leather like in place. And I'm gonna come back, and then what I'm gonna do as soon as, I'm just gonna pretend like I've got 14. Maybe I don't. Okay, I'm gonna tighten really nice and tight. And then I'm gonna come back around. Let me see if I can fit this in here. Oh no, can I? Oh my goodness. Okay, this barely fits. What do I do? Well, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit because you guys, that's cool. You kind of know what I'm doing. You know what? Let me see if I can do a trick here. Let me take this out and see if I can make space for the board because I've got this drawer here. I think that'll work because I really want you to see what I'm doing because there's a couple of things that are like important. Is that going to work? Okay, keep going. Okay, right there. Okay, it's kind of like lopsided a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of go like that. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so then I'm gonna come back. So I'm gonna like do the same thing. I'm gonna come, and what you do is you come all the way to the top because it's gonna make it a little bit like thicker looking. So you don't want that transition. I mean, honestly, I don't think the jewelry police is gonna come and tell you, oh, look, your macrame, you missed, that little section. As long as you do like at least halfway, just so you can get that really nice tight grip in there. That's what's going to keep this leather section from just because there's a lot of stress in there because this leather is really, really thick. They just kind of just keep tightening. Now, I'm going to stop there because I don't want to run out of time. And then what I do is I take a thread burner and I come in and just, you're going to melt, you need to leave a little bit so you can melt it in like to a little button. So that's what's going to keep the cord from like coming undone. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, now, okay, these are, I always get nervous when I use these. I don't know why, but these give a really nice, clean cut. So let me, let's see what we have. I want to see if okay. Oh, is Pat here today? Oh, hi, Mary. Hi. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Any questions? Nope. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And now I'm going to come in and see, you didn't waste any leather because you worked right off the spool. But we're going to be working with, the pink is for the, I'll show you the necklace, but that's what I made these earrings with the pink. But if you guys have any of this Bolo cord from like past shows, I mean, this is definitely something you can do with it. Okay, so now with your, these cuticle scissors, and just buy the cheapest ones that you can get your hands on, nothing fancy. And you're gonna come in close and trim. And then you're gonna trim this little section in here. And come in close and trim. So now you have this part which will become your earring. So I'm gonna show you real quickly how I do the wire wrapping in case you've never done this before. And I think I mentioned that these earrings were inspired by Katie. She did a show on how to make these earrings. And I thought, I'm gonna make those someday. And I mean, I made one pair and, I don't know, I just didn't have the right stuff. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right here, because we're gonna start like the wire wrapping right in the middle, and it just a little tiny, but just like a little tiny marking. Okay, that does not look too good. I mean, maybe you could get a Sharpie or something. Okay, that's good. Just right there. So because once you clip it to the board to like start doing the wire wrapping, it's a little bit hard to like find that center spot. So I'm just gonna let me get this off, and then I'm gonna reconfigure the clips so I can like clip this side in and then this side. All right, let's see if we can get this. And one neat thing, in case you guys don't know this, okay, you say, oh, it doesn't fit, but if you open this up, see that? And what the nice thing about it is it puts even more tension on it. So that is one thing that I do. If it barely fits and I want a lot of tension, what I do is I open up the clip. Let's see. Let me lock that in. And then I open it up and then put it right in there. And look at that. Isn't that nice? It's perfect. And see, it's off-centered, but I know that that's the middle. And you can use either a 26 gauge wire or a 30. I have used either one, and they work perfectly fine. Okay, PJ, thanks for recommending the cuticle scissors. I find them to be better than any. I know, right? I totally agree. So I take about 25 inches of the wire, and then and if you guys have never done this wire wrapping thing that I'm going to teach. It's actually kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of therapeutic. Because I didn't think I would enjoy doing it, but I don't know, I do. And I've got like a ton of earrings, and you can take this technique and use it on other things. I've got like, I'm not kidding, a ton of earrings where I've done this, and it's like out of control. Okay, yeah, you can ask Adair. She knows about my hoops, right, Adair? I just love making hoops. I just make them like incessantly, and then I just throw them in a drawer. I've got so many. I must have like 200 hoops that I don't know what to do with. Okay, so I'm gonna put that wire in, and I'm pulling it, and I'm kind of like going like this, just to keep them like nice and like together. And then I'm just going to push this down. And one thing you could do, if your fingers just don't feel like doing all this work, you can use one of the pegs just to get it like under there, and then like just bring it like through and just wrap. I think I wrapped like 4 times. Okay, so there, and then I get the peg, and then I just pull it down. There is something, oh my goodness, there is something under my board. Okay. And then, because when I'm working, if there's something under my board and it starts like moving, it makes me seasick. So there's that one, and then I'm going to go the 4. So I'm going to do 4 like in between the pearls. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here, and have you guys tried this before? Right, Adair. I'm like, I even made one in front of her, and then I put it in the drawer just to prove that that's exactly where they go. Okay, so now let me trim this end so it's. So when you get this is where it gets kind of weird. I mean, for me, because I always feel like I'm doing something wrong. But if you just keep going, you'll do it. So you just slide this on, and then you just like hold it, and then see how you just kind of like bring it up, just like boom, boom, like an L, with the bead doing it's best to sit on the cord. I don't know how to explain it, guys. I'm without words when it comes to this. And then you could just take your peg and just put it right in there, and then like and see, the thing with this, you're going to go, when you're going that way, it's one direction, but when you're going this way, you'll be wrapping this way. For that way, you'll be wrapping that way. And you could, I mean, once if you've like made these earrings, like let's say, 100 times, and you want to go in all one direction, and you know exactly where to start and where to end, that's, you could do that. But these pearls, they're like slightly like irregular, because they're these tiny Baroque pearls. Okay, so that's 4. And then when you do this side, let's get this down like that. Let me grab a pearl. So you just string the pearl on, and then you do the same thing, just like that. And just, I mean, this technique, oh my goodness. See, this is where it gets weird. You can do this. You just hold it, and then let me feed this under. Okay, see that right there? And then it's kind of like, I would say it's like Etch-a-Sketch. Like everything is like in straight lines. So, and then you come in with your, and just keep it nice and straight. God, I love doing this. I mean, it makes me nervous because I think that I'm not going to get it, and then after you finish, it looks really cute, and then you just want to make another one. There, and then make sure it's nice and like lined up. I think that's 4. Okay, like that. And then you just keep going until you could do the whole thing. I did, on this one, I did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 7, was it? Wait, let me see. Hang on, let me zoom in on here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I guess I must have done 8. And then another thing you could do, if you start like right in the middle with the bead, you could put like a bigger bead. So there's so many shelf liner. Let's see, let me read your comments. So many hoops. Let's see. You could do, okay. I think you guys are having an inside conversation that I'm not like. I don't know. Let's see. Your board is so versatile. Yeah, thank you, Mary. You could even wire wrap the beads before shaping the earring. Yes, yes, that is correct. And on this one, the only thing I did was I came back and I did a wire wrap earring, and I mean like just a wire wrap like ear wire. And I do have a lesson under Knotty Lessons on how to make ear wire. And guys, don't ever buy them. They are so easy to make. A long time ago, I remember, oh, this is so hard. I could never get it right. It's so easy. I mean, 2 bends and like just get a hammer and just like make them like look fancy, but they're so easy to make. It's ridiculous. So let me do like a one more, and then I'm gonna show you what I did on this guy here, because that one is really, really interesting. So let me do one more, because when I did the necklace, I ran into some like strange problems. So I'm gonna do one more here, hold this straight like an L, and then just wrap. I mean, honestly, the 26 gauge works just fine, but the 30 gauge is a lot, you know, thinner and it's easier. So those are things to consider if you just want like a different look for whatever reason, or if you just want it to be like quicker and easier. I don't know, but I find that the 26 gauge worked just fine. So that is how I did these. I did the binding knot, really tight going down, went back up again to give it that extra like strength. And then I just wire wrap the beads. I mean, that's pretty easy, right? Can you use the 22 gauge? Terry, okay, I'll tell you why the 22 gauge doesn't like work, and why the 30 and the 26 just do. Okay, because the 22 gauge has a lot more like metal in it, and when you're wrapping, wire like tends to get like harder, because you know, like a can, you open it and then it snaps. The same thing happens with wire. So with all that like flipping and turning and pulling, I think the 22 gauge would start to like get really hard to wrap, unless, I mean, I know that there are some brands out there that the wire is really, really soft. I don't know. I'd have to look and see what I have here. Maybe I should try it. Maybe just to see. Maybe it'll work. I don't know, because I know that with like sterling silver, like after you work it, it just gets like impossible to make those bends. So anyway, so that covers like, I think you guys just basically get the idea. It's so easy, right? So I'm gonna talk about this necklace, because there's some interesting things to know. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, so I decided that I was gonna make a necklace with the Bolo cord. And so the only difference is, okay, a couple of things. I made one that was like straight like this, just, you know, I thought, oh, it's gonna look pretty, but it didn't, because, let me see if I can like come over here and show you what happened. When I put it on, you know, it just didn't, I thought it would be better if there was a little bit of separation between the two. And I knew that I could do like a because on the board you could set it up to where you could do a tiered, but the first space, I thought it just wasn't right. It just wasn't perfect. So I made a few of them, and I'm going to show you what I discovered and how I fixed the problem and everything else. Okay, so on the board, because normally you would, those of you that are familiar with the tiered, let me clean this up a bit so there's no like confusion. So normally when I set up the board for the tiered, I have you know, see the pegs going down the middle? Let me kind of tilt this. I don't want anything to spill here. See that? Let me just, hang on, let me put that back on there. Normally I would put a peg here, here, and here, because it's just a different configuration. But I just wanted a little bit of space. I didn't want a whole lot of space. So what I did was let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 pegs down. I mean, 4 holes down from the middle. I put a peg in there, and then I knew that I wanted my first. This is going to be 15 inches because from actually no, is it 15 or 14? Let me see. I don't know. Just count from where your the peg is. Come around, just bump down, and it's basically the same configuration that we had before, where I clipped here, and then I came around. But I've got this extra clip in here, and I'll tell you why. I mean the peg, because I mean, if I was coming around like this, I mean, that would be fine. I would, put a ring on, do a binding knot here, and then one on that side. But since I was coming down, see that? I need this to be in here. So that's why I put the extra peg in there, because I just come in here and see that? They're all nice and like lined up and ready to be like knotted. So the way you get the rings on, in case, because I know sometimes I do these, and I get questions like you showed the necklace without the rings. How did you get the rings on? So what I do here is I'll put the first ring on, and then the second ring, and then clip here, come around. And then I'll put one of the rings like right in this part right here. And then when I come around here, I'll just have this one and then clip this part in here, just like that. Does that make sense? Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, 22 gauge too. Oh, that's an interesting question. If the pearls, like, I would just try the pearl, just see if it fits in the wire, and if it does, then there shouldn't be. Yeah, dead soft is extremely important. So I'm gonna do, let's see. I'm gonna do a macrame slide, no, a binding knot here, just in case you guys missed it from earlier. And it, like I said, with this cord, it's really important. And the neat thing about this, you can get fancy. I mean, you could put the beads on the outside. You know what? I'm gonna see how it's like kind of apart. So one thing that you can do here, you could put get like one of your clips. Just get like a clip and just kind of like clip it just so they're together. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit off-centered. You could just come in here and like macrame the end. I'm gonna do this again. This is a binding knot once again, and I'm doing it with the wax jewelry cord. And I noticed, I don't know if some of you noticed, but the inventory on the wax jewelry cord is really, really low. So if you want to grab it, then this is a good time to do it. Bottom. Okay, and you just keep going. Okay, top. Bottom. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, dead soft. Okay, I'll talk about dead soft wire. That's a good question. Wires, or wire in general, it has like what's called a temper, because the more you work it, the harder it gets. Like, have you ever like memory wire? It's like boing, it when you try to pull it apart, it just like goes right back. But dead soft, literally, you just bend it and it just goes. It's like a noodle. However, once you keep working it, it gets harder. I mean, it goes from the soft state to harder. But the interesting thing, if you're working with like a sterling silver, you could actually heat it to get it back to soft again. That's like when that's a good question, because when I make my the ear wire, and I always make them out of sterling silver because I've got sensitive ears. I make them and then I hammer them, because after I make them, you know, have you ever had an ear wire and it bends? You just barely bend it like this and it just goes. So if you like put it like on a block and you just get a hammer and you like tap it a few times, it hardens it. So, oh, 15 minutes. Okay, so does that answer your question, Linda? So dead soft, there's medium, and then there's hard. And I think, you tell me, guys, is there something like above, like hard, extra hard? Or, I don't know, extra dead hard? I don't know. I don't know why they call it dead soft. I mean, that sounds like weird. But that's what, I don't know, they could just call it soft. But I know, I mean, I'm not pretending to be like a scientific or anything, but I know that it has something to do with the molecular, I don't know if it's structure. Is it molecular, like, configuration? Because once it starts to harden, the crystals in the silver like regroup, and but once you heat it, they ungroup, or I don't know. I read that somewhere, so I'm just, like I said, I'm not a chemist. I didn't like sit there and try to figure that out myself. But I believe them because, you know, I heat it and it gets soft again, so. Oh, but the interesting thing about the real thin stuff, you're like, well, how come, you know, you can use it? It's because it's so thin that even if it gets hard, it doesn't matter. That's the reason. And it's amazing because, I mean, if you think about it, people, I have seen where people do like bead crochet with the wire. I mean, that's insane. So that's the macrame binding knot like twice. And then let's see, let me come over here. And then you do the same thing on this side. And, you know, I don't want to run out of time because I want to show you something that was really important that I'm just going to fake it. I'm going to see if I could do like a fake like thing here. Okay, so let me cut this and zoom out. Okay. Since this is really thick leather, what ended up happening, and if this happens to you, then you'll know how to fix it. So I have beads on mine because when I made it, this middle like section, look at that. I had a pendant on there and this thing like stuck up just like this. I mean, it was like, what do I do? It's like sticking up funny. And no amount of like stepping on it, like squishing it helped. But what did fix the problem is that it needed weight. So what I did was I like looked back at some of the beads from past JTV shows, and I found the perfect like weights for that second strand. And I don't know where Sarah got her ginormous like beads from, because those holes must have been big, because her bracelet, let's see if we go back to that bracelet. No, not that one. Let's see. No, I cannot find her bracelet. But those holes were like really, really big, and she was able to get it through on 2 strands. And so basically when I, you know, did my wrapping, of course, you know, I just like I put the beads on, the rings, and then I put the pendant. And then on the ends, I did the macrame slide knot. And I've got 10 minutes left, so I'm going to show you how that was done. So let's pretend like this is like a bracelet or a necklace. So, for those of you that have never seen the macrame slide knot done, I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to use, I would not normally use this thickness, but I'm going to use it just so you can see what I'm doing. So this next knot is going to be a moose knot. So what you do is you put your cord in and measure probably about 5 inches or so. And you, let's see, let me clip this. And then you clip that in there. And then maybe, you know what, I might need a little bit extra because, man, those knots take up so much like thread. I mean, one like coil knot, I think in last week's show, when I gave that tip on how to calculate the amount of cord you'll need, I mean, I think that one of these knots took up like 2 inches of leather. I mean, 2 inches, that's 2 inches. That's for one knot. That's insane. I mean, you would not think, but okay, so there's like one side, nice and pretty. What would you normally use for the slide knot? That's a good question. I'm gonna, you know, it's gotten to where, for some reason, I'm really liking the 0.5 because it seems to fit. Like it's like I don't have to think about it. It's like, you know, if I sit there and like, oh, do I do a 0.1, a 0.5? You know, and I just grab the 1.5 and it just works. So I think that's going to be my new recommendation is the 0.5 for the slide knot. Okay, so I'm just going to like fake it here. This is not going to, it's not going to be a bracelet or a necklace. Because originally what I was going to do with this, guys, is, and I just didn't do it. Let me take this off. Because you could use these and put like a pendant. I don't know where it went, but I actually, I don't know, maybe I took it off. I don't know, but I did use, tie on one of the maple leaves. So you could use this as like, or you could put chain in the middle of both of these. I mean, there are so many things you could do. Remember that the necklace that Sarah made? You can like use these at the ends. I mean, the possibilities are like literally like endless. But before, okay, we need to get this in because once you get the that slide knot on there, this will not come apart. So I'm going to do this next side. Get about, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to like speed it up. Let's see, about 4 or 5 inches. And another thing that you can do, let's just do it since, you know, why not? Another thing you can do, if you want to get fancy, is you could actually put a bead. I know a lot of you know this trick already, but you could put a bead into the, like your moose knot. And believe it or not, I mean, it's not like a pun or anything. I learned this from my sister because she loves making jewelry as well. And she, you know, brought this necklace and there was a bead in there. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And she gave me permission to like swipe it. But honestly, I didn't think of this. She did. So you put a bead in there and then check it out. Slide it down. How cool is that? So that is just one of the other things you can do with the ends. And that is so cool. And then normally, I mean, as always, I like to like come in here and melt these ends down. Let me grab a lighter. Okay. Oh, we got time. We're good. We're doing good on time. So you just get the lighter and then you just want to tap it. And, you know, you might get some stuff on your finger, but it'll be fine. But just don't do it like right after and then put your finger on it because you'll probably burn yourself. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to crisscross these over. But, I mean, those of you that don't have a board, so you can see how I've used this for like a variety of different things. I did like that separation thing. I did that little multi-strand thing. I did the moose knot. Now I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do a macrame slide knot. But this time I'm going to use faux leather in 0.5. Okay, one thing that I learned, and this is a really good tip. If you make a bracelet or a necklace, and what I made something the other day. Oh yeah, it was for Adair, which by the way, it should be getting there soon, Adair. Sometimes if you make it and you open and close it and you're just like it's a little bit too loose, just make it longer because that'll help it slide. And the difference between, I'm going to do the macrame, the slide knot exactly like I did that binding knot. Let me like zoom in here. I mean, like focus. It's exactly the same. But what is so interesting about this is since you're using a different stringing material, this one is slippery, it's denser, it doesn't have wax, it's going to slide. So that's how come when you're doing like the binding knot, you want to like switch from like a wax cord for binding to like a slippery cord for the macrame slide knot. And you can get fancy here. Like Laura Lee, I've seen her, she puts a lot of like little beads on the outside, just like on this little section here that I did on this bracelet, right in there. Whoops. See that? I put like, I think I have another little section. Did I? Oh yeah, right in there. I put like little, it just adds like interest. So I just love this. Thank you so much, Laura Lee, for the idea. And you just come in here and keep going until, and then you can test. You'll know it's like that's too loose, but I know that if I make it longer, it's going to like be like nice and snug. Okay, so and then whoops. Okay, if I know that I've had questions about this, like if you lose your way and you're like, oh, when I don't know, do I do a top or a bottom? Okay, so this bump right here, I wish I could zoom in more, but I don't know what happened. Okay, see that little bump right there? If it's on that side, that means you need to do a bottom. So bottom, bottom, and over. And then you just keep going. And the interesting thing about top, bottom, you just like keep doing that. If you keep doing like top, 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 it'll make like a spiral. So that it could be like a design element. So you just keep going. And I think the most important thing about making a macrame slide knot is that you definitely need to leave this cord right here, leave it sticking out a bit. And you need your lighter because you're going to melt that and it's literally going to turn into a little button. See that? That is what keeps it from coming apart. So you don't want to come and cut in close, and you don't want to put glue on these macrame slide knots because you end up possibly gluing. Oh, thank you, Robin. Okay, I'm going to tap this down, and there you have it. I mean, normally I would make this like longer, but I just want to like not run out of time. So this would be, and then you'd put like, one thing that Adair did, she sent me this awesome bracelet, which I love. And it smells so good, guys. It's like amber. And I'll tell you a story in a minute. But she put these knots right there. So they're like stoppers. So, because I've made bracelets like this, and then, you know, that slide knot, it kind of like goes all over the place. And but she like right where, I don't know how to explain it, but she put these coil knots, and then when you close the bracelet, it just stops it right where it's supposed to be. Let's see how we're doing on time. Okay, let me go back to my face. So I think today's lesson, it was pretty straightforward and simple. The thing to remember when you're doing the binding knot, especially with the Bolo cord, is just to do it and then go back over it to give it that extra oomph. And okay, in case you missed, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're doing that tiered version, like I did on this one, just to give it like a little bit of space in the middle, but not too much. I went to, let me see, 1, 2, 3. On the fourth, that's where I put that peg on the fourth one. And then to put weight, I put these beads on here. But the story I want to tell you, this awesome bracelet that Adair sent, it smells so good. She put like amber, like resin on it, and it's really strong. I mean, but the interesting thing about it is it's only strong when it's near you. I mean, it's like you could smell it. And the other day I put it somewhere and I couldn't find it, but I knew it was in my room somewhere. And I closed my eyes and I started sniffing around for it, and I found it that way because, you know, yeah, that's the funny story I had about this bracelet because it smells so good. I don't know how you did this, girl, but it's amazing. Anyway, my time is up, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.